Welcome to a Dungeon Rogues production of the game 10 Candles, a zero prep role-playing game of tragic horror from Cavalry Games, where the only question is,
the world is dark. What do you do?
I just want to go home. It's dark. It's scary. I shouldn't be here.
Feels like it's been days, hasn't it? Since we've seen the sun.
our wayward campers are being hunted by them.
You hear a twig snap.
We are being watched.
We shouldn't linger longer than we have to.
Not like this!
Their only objective is to make it just a little bit longer before losing it all.
You see it. She's standing there holding a hatchet in one hand, looking down at you.
What the How could you?
Well, you're not helping. Stop fucking screaming, Patrick.
Why did you abandon me with them?
Join us in seeing how deep this story goes.
His light dancing, flickering, and eventually going out.
This is going so much worse.
Like, speed running, killing Patrick here. This is great.
And once more, it's her that pays the consequence.
Yuck! Yuck! Yuck, girl, yuck!
What the fuck?
Why? Why? Why have you said this?
All right. So, rules. I'll just go through this pretty quick because they're pretty simple. 10 candles. We begin the game with 10 candles. There will be 10 candles lit on a table and roll 20. Those 10 candles are representative of your dice pool that you start with. So the group as a whole will start with 10 dice. And when challenges present themselves, and when I say challenges, I use that word very loosely, because it'll be things like, hey, I go into my backpack to grab my hiking pole, and you're going to have to roll, most likely, to find your backpack and see if there's a hiking pole in there. This game is very much about, oh gosh, how do I put this? There's no winning in 10 candles. At the end of the day, all 10 candles are going to be extinguished. The world is going to become dark. The world is going to become dark for your characters and potentially for everyone, depending on how the story goes. To illustrate that, when you fail challenges, we will extinguish a candle. At that point, I will take over narrative control to help kind of set up the following scene, and then we'll begin to tell truths. So when we extinguish our first candle, our first failure, we'll go down to 9 candles, and with 9 candles, there will be 9 truths. We'll go around the table sharing those. So it'll be could be something as simple as, there is a hiking pole in my backpack, right? So from then on, there will be a hiking pole there that you can go get. Could be something as grand as, we are the last people in the world. Could be something as bizarre as, we are no longer on Earth. And you, the players, have that power. When that is a truth for you to share, you are shaping the world and the story that we have. We'll go through that, we'll share our truths, and then we'll pick up the scene again. Continue it onward with that new information feeding into the past, to what's already there. Eventually, your dice pool will dwindle and diminish, and we will end up at a point where there's only 1 candle left. Some characters may die along the way, depending on the situation they're presented with. In the end, we will have told a story that spans anywhere from an hour and a half to 6 hours, depending on how we approach this. Let's strap in and play some 10 candles.
Hell yeah, sounds really interesting.
Great. To begin, I sent a prompt out earlier for entering into the woods. I'm going to take a moment to read through that again, reshare it with everybody here, just to kind of set you in the right mindset before we begin making our characters. When every tree looks the same, where do you go? This was meant to be a backpacking trip. Well, the backpacking trip, to be fair. Finally winning the raffle to get to hike into the backcountry of Grand Teton National Park has been a long time coming. Unfortunately, it came too late for one of your dearest friends. Undoubtedly, the biggest hiker and backcountry buff of you all, their untimely demise pulled you all together for a memorial trip. They were the glue, and in many ways the best of you all. Taking this trip is the least that you could do for them. 10 days ago, you dumped their ashes onto a cairn on the summit and began to hike back the way you came from. 10 days ago, you dropped down from the ridge to take an unmarked trail through a small wood that should have been a shortcut. 10 days ago, you lost sight of the sun beyond the canopy and needed your headlamps in the middle of the day to see. 10 days ago, you realized you were lost and made camp. 10 days ago, no trail ever led back the way you came. 5 days ago, they came. Since then, your group has already been whittled down as whatever they are has only gotten closer. And now you sit around your dwindling fire as the last of the firewood is lit and burning to ash. These things are true. The world is dark. But perhaps your lights can linger for just a little longer and fight back the shadows. So let's build those candles. To start, the first bit of your character is a virtue. A single word and an ideal that you feel is representative of a positive trait in somebody. These can be things like strength, willpower, candor, honesty. Take a moment to think of what a virtue is that you would like to assign a character. So let's start with virtues. And these virtues are publicly known. They are things that you can share with each other. There's very little secret knowledge at the table.
Well, I'm going to take patience for my virtue.
Liliana!
I guess you're a little too patient in asking for that.
Yes, that's what I wanted. It's fine.
You can have it. How about you take patient and I'll take generous?
No, well, I mean, up to you, but I'm...
Yeah, no, because I see, generous, I'm giving it to you. It's...
Get out.
So Kevin has honesty. Katie has selfless. Liliana has generous. And Robyn went with patience. All right. And then, of course, the follow-on to that is a vice. This doesn't need to be the darkest thing that your character has done. That will come up later. But a vice that they may fall into, whether that's rage or abuse, substance abuse, lying, things like that. Vice that a character would have.
I hate to do this again, but mine's broken.
Yeah, I know.
I think it was from
I know why
from
yours
the
is
thing
broken.
that comes next.
You're broken.
Yeah, yours is broken. I went and fixed everybody else's, but yours, because you were player. Because I shifted your player number.
Ready Player One.
I can't edit mine.
There's another one that's broken.
Please.
I think mine is
Please,
broken too.
Kyle. Kyle.
Yep. Oh.
Also try
Kyle.
It's
try a
because
quick refresh.
player 2 was assigned to Kevin.
Oh my
Because
goodness.
you were player 2 before, sir.
Well,
What kind of dog and pony show is this?
I thought I was gonna have and player 4 was
Listen.
assigned to Katie. Yep,
Kyle's doing his best.
that's right. This is my best. Everybody strap in for the evening.
It only gets downhill from here.
It's better than I would do, so you're fine.
Sorry, what's currently being selected? I don't want to.
Kevin has Kleptomaniac.
Beautiful.
Robyn has Quarrelsome. Katie has Aggressive.
Oh, okay. Then I will go with cowardly.
That is so good. I love it.
No.
All right.
No.
So here's
Yeah, I love this. Not like this. Kevin's like, not like this.
here's my favorite part. I appreciate these things that you piece together, these virtues and vices that you have set, these ideals and objects of disdain that you have put to paper. Because now we're going to trade them.
Oh,
Virtues will pass to the right, and vices
love-
will pass to the left.
I love the way this
So-
cake is cut.
I will go ahead. I will go ahead and do that very quickly for you, since I have
Sure.
everything handled. So I'm going to move virtues.
He says he has it under control, but I don't know.
Listen up. Listen here. And
What?
I'm going to move vices. You're probably right. I only get it wrong most of the time. I think I did it right this time, though. So Kevin now has Selfless and Quarrelsome. Robyn now has Honest and Aggressive.
Hell yeah.
Katie is
That's right.
patient and cowardly.
No.
And I love that for Katie. And
No.
and Liliana, you are now a generous kleptomaniac.
I don't
Wow.
well, I will get it,
Listen.
and then I'll give it to someone else.
Yeah. Like Robin Hood.
There you go.
get it.
Having those pieces of information now, we're going to define who you are. Who just a few things to define who your character is. A name, some quick cues for yourself, maybe something of what you look like and what your occupation is, what your job is. I mean, you're a group of friends on this hike. Maybe some of you hate backpacking and this kind of activity. Maybe some of you love it. At the end of the day, who are you? Does anyone have any immediate bits of inspiration, any ideas that are coming to them of who their character may be?
Yes. I am going to make a character. Her name is Jillian Clarke. She's blonde. She is 6'2". She is lean but muscular. And she is a firefighter.
I love it. Does she do like backcountry firefighting, or is she city based?
She's city based, but I think she's she's a fan of nature. She likes the outdoors.
Wonderful. Is anyone else struck with this? I'm very interested in this patient, cowardly character that Katie's going to come up with.
You know what? I hate
This
it.
is very against type.
I'm just glad I didn't get cowardly again.
Oh, I would laugh so
Oh
hard.
no.
Kevin's like,
Although
I've been hurt.
it was fun, but let's explore. Let's explore Patrick O'Toole.
Oh hell yeah.
So he's got a shock of red hair. He's on the shorter side of average. And what he does for a living is my favorite part. He's an influencer.
No, oh God.
Yes. With a name like O'Toole. Wow. Look at him go. Look at him go. What kind of influencer is he? Is he like a like adventure, like holiday influencer? Is he a gamer? Is he like, what does he do? What kind of influencing? Is he a makeup enthusiast? What does he do?
What do you think? What should he do?
Listen, Kevin, I just came up with my own character.
I was thinking gamer,
juiced.
but you've opened
Yeah.
my eyes.
Well,
So let's say that he goes around to nice restaurants and demands that he gets his meals for free because he's going to give them
A 5-star review.
Yeah.
oh my
I
god.
hate him already.
He's a
Exposure.
Yelp.
He's a foodie.
Oh,
He's
Yeah.
he's
no.
paying them an exposure.
Pays an exposure.
Yeah, I want your character to die first.
Yeah, so do I. But he's gonna live forever.
Yeah, he probably is.
Probably,
Literally.
yeah.
Live on YouTube.
Well, I see a name for Katie.
Yeah. Oh, for Katie.
I
The Katie.
got most of my details.
Sarah Carrigan.
Yeah, long, straight blonde hair, average height and build. Described as cute at best. Completely average in every way. Works at a coffee shop while she's in school. I haven't decided what she's studying yet. That's like the last little bit I'm trying to figure out. Something boring.
This
She's
sounds like a
coward.
self-insert fanfiction character.
Or like the
You know?
opposite of that.
Probably.
Like the way that you've written it is like it's the self-insert like
The Mary Sue.
yeah, like the smut character that gets like inserted in every story. Like I love it. I love it.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
sure
that's
nothing strange or exciting will happen to them.
No, not at all.
No.
What is she studying? Something that'll leave her at a
Politics.
desk for the rest of
Politics.
politics. Got it. Like
I mean, how else is
city politics, not even
Yeah.
anything like big and exciting. She's like, I'm gonna work in the office of this small town.
Yeah, how else
work
is
in the office of the mayor as a PA.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
and
I
meet
hate her.
some rich young alderman, an up and comer from the city.
Gross.
That's how it starts. That's how all those stories start.
Is this a Hallmark romance?
This character makes me want to puke.
Well, Hallmark romance or smut, as was called out before.
Yes, I apologize.
See, now we know how to play the game
This game is gonna go places.
Wow.
and just
Wow.
just have fun.
It seems like it might. Okay, I am gonna play Vanessa B. Nobody really knows what the B is actually short for. Maybe it's just bees. That would be very on brand for me. She is a commercial lawyer, but she happens to be very lithe and athletic. Obviously gets out quite a bit, really enjoys the outdoors, and food, and going to the gym, and all of those things, which are actually pretty damn fun. She's typically fashionably dressed with mainstream, neutral, sort of natural makeup, and long, sleek, silky hair that's typically found in like a long ponytail.
I love it. Is she the sort that she packed makeup for her backcountry hiking trip?
A little bit, yeah, but I imagine it's all gone by now.
Yeah. All right.
Like, liner works everywhere.
That's true. All right. Well, let's now shift to your moment of hope. So your moment of hope is a scene that could realistically happen with the setting and space that you're in. Something that would bring your character joy and elation, that would rekindle a fire in them if they got to experience it. As an example, maybe it's finding a radio and getting to talk to someone outside of these woods would give them hope. Maybe it's finding a photograph that they thought that they lost of someone that they cared about, or finding a friend who's gotten lost in the woods. Maybe all that they've ever wanted is to see a bear, and getting to see a bear in this moment would make them feel like they saw their spirit animal and restored vigor to them. Some kind of
Listen.
moment.
You didn't have to call me out like that. You
I'm
didn't have to
listening.
call me out.
I changed mine. It was going to be get a good meal, but now it's get on the internet.
Oh man, I want a good meal. Dibs.
Okay, there you go.
So Patrick O'Toole, what he wants most is to get on the internet.
Mm-hmm. And Selfless and Quarrelsome is interesting combo.
It fits a influencer.
It fits a tool.
Yes, it
tool,
does.
I mean.
I think I've decided with build a fire.
I like it, like a bonfire, a real fire.
Like a proper fire.
Proper fire. All right.
You're secretly a pyromaniac, huh?
Proper.
Wait
Wait a minute. I thought, she was a firefighter.
Yeah, it's so they have something to fight.
You can make your own work.
Well, you're in luck because Kevin is going to get to write a brink in just a moment. So building a hardy fire, a fire the likes that can push out the cold and be seen. I love it. And for Vanessa, what moment of hope are you looking for?
So I think Vanessa would be hoping to see like a road or a definitive path, something that's a sign of promise of leading to civilization.
Wonderful. That is a great moment of hope to have. Yeah, an opportunity to escape that glimmer, that maybe not all is lost. Love it. All right, so with that then comes the last little bit, and those are brinks. Now, you are going to be writing brinks not for yourself, but for other people at the table. You're going to be writing them for the person to your right. And what this means is, what a brink is what your character has done at their darkest of point. What something, when all the chips fell, they did something awful. And importantly, the person that's writing it for you knows about it. The way that brinks are written is, I have seen you. So in this case, Patrick O'Toole is writing for Jillian. So Patrick, you have seen Jillian do something. Now these brinks, unlike everything else, these brinks are private. They are known only to the person who wrote it and the person who received it. So Robyn actually gets to write for me, and I get to write for Katie. What that means, it's a little different here. So Robyn, you are actually writing for them. Something that you have seen them do. I have seen them do something. What have you seen them do? For an example, in the last one that we ran, the brink that I had was, I have seen them sacrifice one of their own to meet their goals. And then I get to write Katie's. And Katie's is written as, they have seen her. What have they seen Sarah Carrigan do?
Wait, Sarah Carrigan? It's very close to Carrigan there. The StarCraft
The StarCraft character.
You can't say that name on the air.
Some wow. TM.
So yes, Sarah is writing for Vanessa. Vanessa is writing for Patrick. Patrick is writing for Jillian. Jillian is writing for them, and they are writing for Sarah. So everybody take a moment to fill out your brinks, and then when you are done, I will go ahead and shuffle them around to the right people. Oh, I like that. It's a very interesting brink that you gave them.
I wanted to give them the opportunity to have growth, you know.
I like that quite a bit. I think that is a very good brink.
Honestly, the best part about most characters is growth.
A little character development never hurt nobody, no how.
Very little, preferably.
Well, it might hurt us.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Nah.
I'm jumping in the bonfire first chance I get. I don't remember who wrote my brink, but well done.
It was Liliana wrote yours.
Thank you, Lilli.
You are welcome.
I just read mine.
You're welcome.
God bless.
Everyone should now have their brinks assigned. So go ahead and take a moment to read through what you have.
Savage.
Mine is good because Kyle is a monster.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently so is Kevin.
Oh, yes.
Apparently so am I.
Wonderful.
Nobody is innocent here.
Not in this world.
This world
is dark.
This world is dark and full of terrors.
Now, we come to possibly the gamiest portion of this game. You have an opportunity to stack your cards, your virtue, your vice, and your moment of hope. What I mean by that is you'll create a pile with those. The brink will always go on bottom, so you can move the other three in whatever order you want. As we go through the game, you will roll dice. And when you roll dice, if you roll ones, and you wish to re-roll those in hopes of getting sixes, the only dice that succeed, you may burn your virtue or your vice as long as it's on top of your stack. You burn that part of you, you give up that part of you, and you weave it into the narrative in some way. So Patrick O'Toole, let's say he was wanting to scare off a bear and rolled some dice and failed and had ones, and virtue was on top with selfless. So he wove that into the narrative of Patrick doing something selfless. He would get to re-roll those ones, only the ones, in hopes of success. But then that card would be burned up and never be able to be used again. Work the same way with vice, or your moment of hope. If your moment of hope is on top and you have crafted the scene in such a way that you have an opportunity to achieve it, there will be a conflict roll. And if you succeed on that conflict roll, you will get a special dice for the rest of the game. And that dice allows you, and only you, in conflict rolls to succeed on a 5 or a 6. For you have seen a glimmer of hope in the world and have just a little bit more power to fight back the darkness. Eventually, though, most people will burn through all those things, and you will be left only with your brink, that darkest moment that has been witnessed in your life. And when you're at that point, you can use that brink, that part of you, to re-roll all of the dice in hopes of succeeding against all odds. Weave a tale similar to it, whether it's a confession of what happened, whether it's a re-examining of that event, in some way incorporated into what's going on, and you will have an opportunity to re-roll all your dice. So go ahead and take a moment. Stack your virtue, your vice, your moment of hope.
I'm going to leave mine just the way they are.
All right.
Same.
Patrick O'Toole. Virtue, vice, moment of hope.
I can't reorder mine,
How
but I
How
would
would-
like
That's why I wanted
virtue.
it just the way it was.
Virtue, moments of hope, vice, please.
Done.
Thank you.
Apologize, everybody.
It's just
I also
something that
can't move mine.
nobody can do it.
Yeah.
Only the GM can.
Yeah.
That's
But
silly.
as they are is fine.
I think I want to go vice, virtue, moment of hope.
Vice, virtue, moment of hope. Well, here we are. You're deep in the woods. I'd like everybody to take a moment. You're now going to do. You're now going to make effectively a short recording for yourselves. You had a recorder. You had left a memorial tape for your friend. You had all thought to do that on the night that you drank at the summit and spread their ashes. And you shared words of love and of longing and missing for them. And you'd intended, when you got home, to make copies for everybody and maybe send it off to his family. But last night, as you sat around this fire and it began to dwindle, you passed around the recorder again. Unsure if you'll ever get away from this place, you recorded a few last words for yourself or for whoever might find this recorder, hoping that you wouldn't simply be lost. And so I'm going to ask each of you in turn to take stage for a brief time to share some words that we will listen to again at the end. Let's start with Kevin, with Patrick O'Toole. Patrick, the recorder is in your hands as the button flips and you hear the cassette begin to slowly spin, waiting for your words to fill it.
Patrick has the scent of the very last drops of his bottle of his little flask of Jameson on his breath when he's looking at this recorder, and he stares at it with the fire dying around him. He looks around at everybody surrounding these embers, and he says,
Jeremy, you old fucking piece of shit. What did you get us into? If you're out there watching us in the afterlife, I want you to know that we do not appreciate what you've made us do. And he hands it to the next person.
Jillian, the recorder is passed to you from Patrick's fumbling hands.
Jillian takes it and doesn't look at it directly, sort of just lets it rest in her palm a moment, staring into the fire. As she raises it, she hesitates for a second. I should never have let you go. I should have stopped you. I should have stopped you. And then none of us would be here, would we? Fuck you. And with that, she passes it on.
Sarah, recorder's passed over to you.
Sarah grabs it and kind of clings to it a little bit too tightly. And she's got tears, like dried tears, down her face because she's probably been crying for however long now. She just looks at it and chokes back a sob. I want to go home. It's dark. It's scary. I shouldn't be here. And she starts crying and hands it off.
And finally to Vanessa.
Vanessa will take the recorder with one hand and place another one on Sarah's shoulder in just like a gentle, comforting fashion, knowing it's not really going to do anything, but that the gesture itself is what should be done. She will she'll actually look at it for a second and kind of and say to the group, we probably shouldn't have gone with cassette tape. Like that's just going to degrade and oh, never mind. This was supposed to be affirming. We made it this far. I don't know how much further we will make it, but we made it this far. There's nothing to say that we can't keep going. So let's keep going. And then she'll think about how silly that sounds for a second. She's looking more haggard than she perhaps has the entire time that the group has known her. And she'll just kind of hold on to it being the last one.
Well, come now. What's next? Our fire's dying. All the wood around us is wet. We can't start a new one. It's getting awfully dark. Past dark, actually.
It's always dark. That's the thing.
Feels like it's been days, hasn't it? Since we've seen the sun.
Well, I don't know about you, but I've heard that there are like mushrooms and stuff in these conditions that we can find, and there's bound to be berries this time of year, right? We should probably if we go find food, that'll keep us like distracted and I said the quiet part loud. Hey, I'm hungry. Who else is hungry?
Sarah raises her hand.
I'm hungry, but the reality is that, we're gonna find some semi-poisonous mushroom and then try and eat it. We'd be better off trying to find some way of hunting something, anything.
Well, how's this then? I'll go see if I can find some kind of fallen tree that hasn't gotten too wet. Maybe can hollow out some of its inners for kindling. And why don't a couple of you all go and look for some to eat, huh? We can roast it on the fire if we get it going.
I don't think splitting up is actually that good an idea. Think about it. That's just asking for trouble.
He's right. I mean, if we're moving to go hunt anyway, or to gather or whatever, there's a very high chance that we'll find wood along the way.
Well, listen, I don't have a way to start another fire, so I don't want this one going to waste. These embers are still good. But if you want to keep moving, because you think you can start another one, then so be it. I'll be voted out.
Sarah, are you okay to keep moving?
Well, if I don't move, I'm just gonna die right here. I don't like it here.
No, I don't think any of us do. Okay, yeah, we've got this. Let's keep moving.
Okay.
Yeah, you begin to gather up the remnants of what you have. Your packs, windbreakers, your empty bottles, your bear canister is now empty of any food that was in there. You load everything up, pull it on to your weakened and cold, stiff frames, and you look into the dense forest around you, to the darkness surrounding you.
Well, I think we went left last time, so does that mean we keep going left or just straight? Pick a direction. I don't think it matters much.
That way. Sarah points in a direction that is not where they just came from.
Fine, but we should mark the trees as we go, or any landscape we can. Last thing we need is to be doubling back.
Sure. Well, I know we took a fall a little while back when we were running from, Sam. Do you still have that hatchet on you to maybe mark up a tree?
Sure.
Go ahead and give us the first. I see what you did there, Patrick. Go ahead.
Hell yeah.
Give us our first roll. 10 dice. You know that the hatchet was there. You set it down at the edge of the log. Let's see if it's still there now.
So which one of us is rolling? Sorry.
I will leave that up to you to decide.
Robyn said sure.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll
Robyn's
roll.
rolling.
Nose goes.
So what dice am I rolling?
All right, so you're going to roll 10d6. You are looking for
Oh.
6s, and 6s alone. Any 1s will be removed from your dice pool for the remainder. Ooh, 2 6s and 2 1s. With 2 6s, yes. And sure enough, Jillian, you reach down, you know where you left it. And sure enough, there's a hatchet there. Still holding together, sturdy, reliable. You heft it into your hand, test it.
Okay, do your marking thing and I'll take the lead.
Sure thing. Jillian goes to the nearest tree and puts a cross in it with 2 swift strokes.
All right. Is she consistently marking them on one side? Is her goal
Yes.
to...
Yeah.
All right. With a big cross. All right. Sarah had pointed off in a direction, and Patrick hefts his pack and begins leading the way. You're walking into the dark, away from your last bits of dying fire. You click on your headlamp, give you a little extra light. You know that the battery within it is near done, near dead on you. As you begin to weave away, looking for something different.
I'll just use my my headlamp for now, and y'all keep yours off, and maybe we can beat the darkness back for just a little bit longer. And he'll start walking off. And he's going to be searching while he's walking for those berries and the forbidden mushrooms that were talked about as he is journeying.
You know how this goes.
Yeah.
Sorry, just quickly. Jillian pipes up. Patrick, I think the person at the back might need to have their lamp on too. Just in case.
Oh, if you insist. I don't want to ban Jack set up though, but sure. Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no. So mechanically I rolled 8d6 because there was 2 1s in the one before it. However, I didn't get any 6s in this roll, but I got 2 more 1s. So that means that I can possibly burn a virtue and attempt to re-roll those 1s and hope for a 6. If not, then we have already started out on a failure.
I mean, it's only 2 ones, Patrick, and it's so early in the game. Are you sure
Yeah.
that you want to burn a virtue for that?
Uh-huh. So he's gonna burn the night is dark. So he's going to burn Selfless. And the reason why is because he went first into the dark, and he does find a mushroom. But nobody is sure if this mushroom is good or bad. So he's going to take a bite and test it so that everybody else can maybe see what happens.
Not like this. Not like this.
Go ahead and re-roll
Sounds great.
those 2 ones for me, please.
Rolling 2d6. And he fails.
My friend, the world is dark.
It is.
You're uncertain what kind of mushroom it is at first. You do a few things that you've watched on YouTube that you think should identify it for you. You peel at the cap and see if the membrane if it sticks to itself. You crush the stem to see if there's any colors that arrive there. You're pretty sure that if it's not red, then it must be safe to eat. It's brown and it smells fine.
I am a bit of a food expert. And he pops it in his
Right.
mouth.
Pops it in his
Oh.
mouth. There's a field of these mushrooms. And as Patrick tosses it into his mouth, you all think to wait just a little bit longer and see how it affects him. Give it some time, you think. It doesn't take long. Maybe an hour, but likely less. It's hard to tell in this darkness. Before Patrick is doubled over, his pupils wide, confused and sweating, and he's throwing up everything that was in his system. He's shaking violently, his skin is clammy, and the world is dark as your first light is extinguished. We now move into the truth-telling phase, beginning with Patrick. We're going to go around and share one truth for each lit candle. Fortunately, I sit in on this process as well. So, fortunate for me, that is. So we go around the table, each sharing a truth, beginning with the person who failed the roll. As a reminder, these truths can be things that solve your current conflict and situation, things that are far-reaching and world-altering, things that are esoteric, things about them. But we'll begin with Patrick sharing our first truth.
I've been wanting to say this since we got the prompt. A short ways down the path, there is a abandoned, perhaps, witch's hut.
That is our first truth. A little further down the path, there's a witch's hut. Jillian, share for us the next truth.
When they have chased us, they do not have faces.
They do not have faces. That's good. It's my turn. There were originally 10 of you that went on this hike.
Ooh.
Sarah, what is your truth?
There are other hikers, campers, whatever you want to call them, not too terribly far, that so far have fared better than us.
There are other hikers in these woods. Vanessa.
So these mushrooms, they're poisonous, but they also have mystical properties. And if you can survive eating
Yes.
them, there will be some blessing or boon or vision that comes with them.
These sacred mushrooms can give you visions if you survive their poisonous effect.
It's a big if.
It's a big if. 5 truths have been shared. 4 more, are left. Patrick, give us another truth.
Lily's trying to kill me already with that big if.
Whoa.
Come on. These creatures do not move on land or through the air, but they skitter from tree to tree.
Gross.
These creatures do not move on land or air, but they skitter from tree to tree. Jillian.
Each one of us has at some point whilst we have been here found something from our past.
Each one of you has found something from your past. A trinket, a token, something that you thought lost, but you've recovered it here in this place. Secreted it away. I now share the 8th truth. You've noticed that the dirt here looks reddish when you hold it in your hands.
Well, I don't do that.
And Sarah, you share our 9th and final truth.
The water is a safe place to be.
It makes sense. In a world where they travel by skittering from tree to tree, the water is a safe place to be. You watch as Patrick retches, his form shaking and shivering, his skin pale, his heart rate accelerated, his breathing weak. He slumps to the ground, laying back against some fallen tree trunk, and you watch as more mushrooms seem to poke up and emerge from the ground around him as he sits there, lounging within them, his eyes lolling in his head.
He looks around at all these sprouting mushrooms and says, "Oh, what is this Hatan? Am I done for? Is this to be in my grave?"
No?
Awfully reassuring, aren't you there, Tara? Great. I was expecting something with a little more substance, but I guess a shaky no will have to do.
I think during this time, Sarah is kind of like pacing back and forth because we can't really keep moving with Patrick like this. But she's watching the tree line, just wanting to try and stay alert. And any minute now, he's gonna get better, and we can keep moving. But until then,
I think Jillian has moved forward and is like tearing off some part of clothing and wetting it and putting it across Patrick's forehead.
Yeah, you wet a piece of cloth, a bandana that you brought with you. Maybe that you found, that you thought lost. And you wet it from the forest floor and begin to dab it across his brow. It's cool on your skin, Patrick. You can feel it. It almost feels as if the water itself is seeping into you, as if you're drinking it through your pores. Vanessa, as you're pacing, looking up at the trees, you hear a twig snap nearby. And you look over to see a fleeting, parka? Looks like somebody in a windbreaker for just a moment. And then you see them running away from you, back into the forest, darting behind a tree and out of sight.
Thanks, Jillian. I'm feeling a little bit better. It seems to almost have rehydrated me or something. I can't explain it. I think I'm ready to keep moving.
If you're sure, Patrick, I don't want to rush you.
Well, let's find out, shall we?
yeah, one step at a time, right? We they have to be out there. We shouldn't linger longer than we have to.
You all hear the sound of twigs snapping as that figure disappears out of sight.
Right, I think I'm ready now. Let's go. The other direction is that one. And he starts to stumble forward and kind of falls to a knee, but after a deep breath, he picks himself back up and dry heaves and keeps going.
I think Vanessa starts to come down to help him. Then when the dry heaving starts, she kind of just backs up a little bit instinctively. It's like a little bit of her old self kind of breaking through even after all of this. But then once he's fine, it's back to being a little bit paranoid.
Sarah just follows along.
Patrick continues to surge forward, his inebriated form leading the way for you as his head bobs this way and that, his light dancing, flickering, and eventually going out.
I'll turn mine on. It's my turn. I should I've got this for a while. And Vanessa will switch her headlamp on and just kind of like maybe if Patrick's still a little shaky, kind of like give him to Sarah and Jillian, just like in a reassuring kind of like, no, it's okay. You just need like a little bit of almost like you talk to a pet that's like a little distressed.
So you're going through that and you're fiddling with your headlamp, clicking the button once, twice, 3 times, waiting for it to click on. Go ahead and roll 9 dice for me, please. 96. So many dice. With 0 successes.
So many dice, yet no luck.
Wow. And 2 1s. No 6s and 2 1s.
This is going so much worse.
Vanessa, you may, if you would like, use your vice if you would like to attempt a reroll of those 1s alone. Otherwise, we can extinguish a candle and move forward.
Did you steal somebody else's battery?
Well, yeah. See, it's statistically not in my favor, but that doesn't mean that I didn't take it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So yeah, for the fun of it, I think I will burn that vice. Vanessa certainly did just take a thing or two from each of the 10 people who went on this journey. You know, it was kind of going to be her own way of just keeping a little memento, if you will. But hopefully there's actually a battery in there.
Please re-roll those ones. Roll 2d6.
Oh,
there we go.
Yay.
And sure enough, Vanessa, you click. Your headlamp doesn't click on, but you remember the battery that you snaked from Robert before he left, before he freaked out and ran off into the woods 2 days ago. As you slip it into place, your light clicks on.
I won't look at anyone, and I'll hope that they, don't happen to catch anything else in that little bag of things that are totally not mine.
It's a nice little collection of things that you've gathered, useful items that can be called upon as you continue to traverse through these here woods. Little items of use, insignificant on their own, but perhaps here the difference between success and failure.
What's that there I see in the distance? Is that some kind of shack?
Sure enough, Patrick, you see this building, and it has a nimbus of light coming from around it. As you gaze at it, it looks like you can hear, well, how to describe this? You see music coming from it. You don't hear it, but it's singing to you as you see this building, this beautiful building, just on the edge of the light. For the rest of you, you see a decrepit shack, mostly grown over with moss and mildew. There's windows that are cracked and shattered. A tree has caved in half of it, and it smells of rot. It's repugnant. Patrick begins to stumble towards it.
Yeah,
Patrick,
I mean, that makes sense.
That doesn't look safe.
It's shelter, though.
It looks like it's gonna fall and poison us all.
Maybe hold up. Maybe one of us should check it out before you go in. Given you might not be as quick as the rest of us if something goes wrong.
Well, how about this? I'll race to it then, huh?
No.
Stumbling forward.
Oh, I will totally beat him there.
Yeah, Jillian races ahead.
Be
And
nice.
kind of-
Be nice though. There's someone in there.
No, there isn't. It's very fucking empty. And yeah, she I think is just trying to keep ahead of the pack so that she can get in there first.
For sure, I think Vanessa hearing that will kind of like hesitate because even though she can't see what Patrick is seeing, they've been through enough crazy shit to know that could very well be true, and it gives her pause.
All right. Vanessa, you pull up just short as Jillian pulls ahead, clutching, I assume, that hatchet in hand.
Yep,
As you make it to the door and push it open. Please roll for me 9 dice. Those 2 ones were re-rolled and neither came up a 1, so you're back to a full dice pool. 9 candles, 9 dice. Let's see what awaits you beyond this door. Ooh.
There you go.
You rolled 2 6s. That's a success. There is a 1, so we're down to 8 dice for future rolls. But as you push open the door, Jillian, what do you see?
Jillian at first probably sees nothing because the torch isn't on. But she clicks it on and looks around to see an empty room save for a chair, an old moldy, dank-looking rocking chair in the middle of the room. Empty save for what appears to be an old shawl.
Sure enough. You look through the room. There's an old rocking chair. You push open the door, you swear you heard it creak. It must be the wind. Is there wind? Maybe it was just you entering into the room itself that made the chair slowly rock forward and back. Your eyes pulled to that shawl. Looks like it's delicately embroidered as the light casts over it, and Patrick pushes into you and forces his way into the small space as well.
You think they have internet here?
I think Jillian grabs Patrick by the back of the neck, like by the scruff of his like jacket or whatever he's wearing, and just like holds him. Any of these floorboards could be so rotten, and we don't know if there's a basement, so please hold your horses, Patrick.
All right. You're the expert on dilapidated buildings and all that. I'll hold back. Get after it, son.
Yeah, Jillian steps forward and starts towing the floorboards, attempting to see if any of them are weak or rotting. I think she's heading to the chair.
All right. Jillian begins to move through the room as everyone else arrives, kind of dawdling in the doorway, testing.
Yeah, Vanessa would definitely go back to try and like just encourage Sarah a little bit, or reassure her to be a presence there for her.
Yeah, Sarah just kind of like clings to her and just. This is a bad idea, right? That building's gonna fall.
It's gonna be okay. They know what they're doing.
I don't think Patrick knows what he's doing.
I heard that. I don't appreciate it, especially with that tone.
Jillian, you're making your way across the room. As I said, towing the boards and poking at them. You're careful, spreading out your weight so that way you won't fall through. But I do need you to please roll 8 dice for me.
Oh.
1 1 and 1 6. You succeed.
That's great. That's
great.
fantastic. You saw me fail on 10 earlier, didn't you?
Listen, I'm 12. Dropping the pool every time.
You make it safely to the chair. There are, in fact, several spongy boards throughout the room, but you think that they're going to hold up, even if someone is a little less careful than you were. You take in the room now as you're in it, and more people are. It actually seems, at one point, to have been a very sturdily built shack. The walls themselves are built from the trees, full logs that have been shaved on the inside to make flat walls and chitted here and there with bits of moss and dirt and stone that have begun to, the mortar's begun to fall out not maintained well. There's a shelf along one wall that's holding up a part of the caved-in roof when the tree had fallen over it. But in all, this building seems solidly built. And perhaps surprisingly, it isn't overrun by creatures. There's no vermin that you see. There's no signs of spider webs that have overtaken the room. It seems dry, clean, and inviting as you make your way to the chair as it creaks and stops rocking as you get near it. An embroidered shawl laying across it, draped in such a way that you can't quite make out whatever image might be stitched into it.
Damn, that's creepy.
Patrick,
Yeah.
what does this look like to you? And Jillian raises the shawl.
Oh no, you touched it.
Yeah. Yeah, she did.
Jillian, you pick up the shawl and unfurl it before you, pointing it at dear, sweet Patrick O'Toole. Patrick, you recoil. But please roll for me 7d6 to see how much you do.
Like speed running, killing Patrick here. This is great.
Patrick really is like the universe's whipping boy at this point.
Hey,
isn't
there you
he?
go. There's a couple sixes and a
Hey.
one.
This is in 1-1. All right. Yet you do recoil, Patrick. What you see on there is a finely stitched. Well, for you, it doesn't look stitched at all. Rather, it is a large, spindly armed creature. It looks almost like a solid red spider, except it has too many legs. 10, 15, 20, they all blur together as it leaps forward at you off of this cloth and embraces you as if it's going to grab you and tear everything from your insides out. For the rest of you in the room, you see a series of finely crafted red lines coming off of an oval shape in the middle of this embroidery. It looks indeed like spindly legs that go out to the sides and then come back to the middle where they are holding a cocooned creature of some kind.
So Patrick, he recoils and he shrieks, and then he lunges forward and smacks the tapestry shawl thing out of Jillian's hand. And he says, "Put that fucking thing down. That's my call. Them towards us."
Well, you're not helping. Stop fucking screaming, Patrick.
What? I was over
Just
here
shut
looking.
up.
I was over here just looking at these herbs on the shelf here, and I think that we might be able to make some kind of tincture to make my stomach feel a little better. There's some arrowroot, some pygmy mallow, some spring chives, and some allspice. I don't know what that's doing there, but
Yeah, because eating more is gonna help you, isn't it? Yeah, sure, I think that's a great idea. Let's just put more mystery meats inside the Patrick. Why not?
Jill, chill down. It's okay. He's gone through enough. Come on.
I once did a collab with somebody who experimented in like mortar and pestle kind of spices for teas and stuff. I think it could work.
Do you have any water or a fire to make tea, Patrick?
Oh, I forgot we were looking for fire earlier, weren't we? I'm sure there's something in this whole spooky hut that we could use. Don't you think?
Yeah, the hut looks like it's gonna burn down.
Let's just take a look while we're here.
Who would like to take a look?
Who hasn't rolled yet?
The
Sarah.
coward hasn't rolled yet, and the coward sure as hell is not going to open that.
Maybe she would with a little gentle persuasion.
Okay, Sarah will open it, but like stand behind it while she does, so that whatever is in it jumps out at somebody else.
All right. You move over to the shelves, over to the hutch, and Patrick is grabbing things off of. And sure enough, there's a door there that you grab onto and pull open. Please roll for me 6d6.
Oh,
No
Yes!
sixes and no ones.
can't even burn
Unfortunately, that
anything.
means,
That ain't it.
cowardly as you
Yeah.
are, there is no opportunity to roll. As another candle is extinguished, poor Sarah, forced to do something she would never do on her own, her friends insisting yet again, she steps out of her comfort zone and do something that will help her grow, something that will help make her bold. And once more, it's her that pays the consequence.
Yeah, that tracks.
She pulls open the door. There's no bliss in this cupboard, in this hutch, as she pulls it open and she sees Bob's severed head staring back at her, its mouth agape, as out from between its lips crawls a red spider. This is true. This world is dark. Sarah Carrigan, what is your truth? 8 candles, 8 truths.
Well, first she screams. Like you do.
Yeah, that's true.
Mushrooms make you immune to the spiders.
Aw.
Mushrooms make you immune to spiders.
The mushrooms I almost died from, right? Those ones? Or
Yeah,
different
yeah.
ones?
Yeah.
This one's-
Unfortunately,
Those are
it's-
now canonically the only mushrooms.
Mushrooms in general.
I think so. There's going to come a time where you have to choose between 2 mushrooms, and I hope you choose right. Vanessa, what is your truth?
Vanessa doesn't know it yet, but she is undergoing a transformation of some kind.
Oh.
Why would you do that?
Yuck! Yuck, girl, yuck!
Yeah.
There are
Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. I don't know.
there are many ways a person can transform. Trauma and tragedy
Exactly.
is transformative in many ways.
Oh, we got a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick, what is your truth?
We are being watched.
Why? Why? Why have you said this?
My friend, you are certainly being watched. Jillian, what is your truth?
The floor is about to break.
Mm.
The floor sags beneath Sarah as she recoils and screams.
It's too close to somebody else as she steps back.
Here is my truth. The door you came through is stuck and cannot be opened. Sarah,
Oh man. Now I'm stuck. Okay. How can I make this worse?
Good question.
You could try to make it better.
that is
I
an
can-
option.
I can do both.
Boo.
Perfect.
The basement is flooded.
Ah.
Importantly, the basement
Yes.
is flooded. Look at that, you found water.
Nobody said water.
Why
Oh,
did you say
goodness.
that?
Oh, that's so inspirational.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Whose side are
We
you
have
on?
shared
All of
everyone's
ours.
side. That's right. We have shared 6 truths, leaving 2 more. Vanessa, what is our 7th truth?
Wow, I feel like it should probably be about the basement.
A router. Good idea.
No, that's not where I'm leaning. Somewhere submerged in the basement is something that will give insight as to who is watching us, or what. Either a record that identifies them, or something that tells you a little bit about the nature of them. There's something in there.
Somewhere submerged in the basement is evidence that you can use, something that will guide you towards a realization about who or what is watching you. Patrick, what is our 8th truth?
I'm going to expand on that just a little bit. And I'm going
The
to
World
say...
Wide Web.
Big brother.
Oh, man.
It's Google.
And Patrick's truth is they started here.
This is where they were founded. This is where they started. When you say here, do you mean this house, this shack, this space, or do you mean these woods, this area that you found yourself in?
I mean, within the radius of,
Perfect.
50 meters.
Perfect.
And I don't know if that means this is where they landed, or this is where they were birthed, or this is where they crawled out of hell.
But
this is where they started.
That is our 8th truth for our 8th candle. As Sarah falls to the floor, dear friend Bob's head, Robert's face, aghast, torn open, and from between his lips crawls oversized red spider, parting his lips, each leg long, so long, like the tapestry, like the embroidered shawl, as its spindly body pulls itself from his skull.
Are you okay down there?
Oh my goodness! I'm gonna dive after her. Like she fell because I thought it would be good for her. I have to go help her.
Flash.
Right into the dark fluid. It's not far that you have to fall. As the floor gives way, at first you're submerged, your head falling beneath falling beneath the surface. You gasp when you first hit Sarah. Do you draw this fluid into your mouth?
What a weird question.
Do you imbibe of this strange fluid in the basement?
As much as I would like to believe that she has the willpower to stop screaming as she hits the liquid, no, she does not. She is still screaming, though something gets in her mouth.
You are welcome to roll if you'd like. But otherwise, no, the fluid...
Raspberry.
You feel it as it goes into your mouth, it goes in your nose and fills your ears. It's cloying and sticky. You're unsure what it is, but you descend. You don't resurface. Your head doesn't reemerge, at least not immediately. Vanessa, you're looking towards where she fell through and you're thinking to yourself that you should dive in after her. You need to help her.
Absolutely, she doesn't even have light.
You see this fluid. It's almost gray in color. Viscous and thick. Your light looks at it. You swear you see Sarah's form somewhere down there, like a darker shape, a shadow beneath the fluid. What do you do?
I have to dive in after her. I mean, I am definitely the better swimmer, so I will use those like Ivy League track years, Ivy League swim team years to rescue her. Surely,
Surely.
except with a lot more panic than that.
All right. Please roll for me 8d6.
I can save you from the fluid.
You can. With 1 6 and 2 1s, you are successful, Vanessa. What happens as you dive into this viscous liquid to recover, Sarah?
So obviously there is going to be contact with fluid, but it takes longer to happen than you'd think. She falls more slowly, not quite floating, but as though there's a moment of weightlessness. And then she makes contact and obviously gets coated in this horrible, horrible basement fluid. Thank you so much for using that word. But she knew where Sarah was, so she'll find her quickly and kind of reach in, and thanks to her athleticism, she'll be able to kind of like hoist her up and either find like a crate or something that they can use and reenact that scene from Titanic, or even just to keep her afloat and let her like breathe.
Once you've pulled her up and above the surface, Sarah, you're able to scream. You're able to pull that shaking breath. Ah, no. You take that back. You're not. As Vanessa gets you above the surface, you were there for only, as far as the rest of you are concerned, she was there for so little time. But now she's above the water, or above the fluid. Vanessa has her above it, cradling her, back floating with her there. But she doesn't open her eyes. No sounds come from her lips.
Oh.
But she still has them, right?
Yeah, she does still have a face.
All right.
No, that's an
Just
important
for now.
Consideration.
That's an important question. That's fair.
I hate that I've made it an important question.
Yeah, I love it.
You have done that yourself.
I know.
But there she is. You've resurfaced with her. You can kind of
Sarah.
reach up and throw an elbow up above, back onto the floor. You're so close. You're only 6 inches, maybe a foot down before this fluid starts under this floor.
Sarah, can you hear me? It's okay. It's apparently we're not alone. Sarah, but I can't care about that right now because Sarah is what matters. Sarah, are you okay? Nothing?
Nothing.
I'll try and drag her out then. We've got to see what's wrong with her.
Jillian and Patrick, you watched this play out before you as Vanessa dove into the fluid. Again, she was only there for a moment. She was in and out as she grabbed Sarah and pulled her back up to the surface. And now they're struggling to get out. Patrick, you're there. This hutch door is open right before you. You were kind of leaning there and had a full face of Robert.
Oh no, I was there.
And Red Spider, you were standing there looking through the spices as Sarah pulled open the hutch door. You have this ghastly sight, and then Sarah fell through the floor. And what are you doing?
He also kind of shrieks as this is all happening. Oh, Bobbert, my sweet Bobbert, what happened to you? Why did you run away? Why did you abandon me with them?
With them. Those are the words that you speak as the spider finishes unfurling its body from Bobbert's mouth. It crawls up onto the top of its head and perches there, looking up at you, staring you in the eyes. Patrick, you know it's trying to connect with you. Something there.
Patrick reaches his finger towards this spider. At first, in an attempt to, flick it off, but then he feels this weird kind of connection with it, and he puts his hand out, and it crawls on his finger, and it crawls over his hand, and it hurts a little bit from these sharp feet, these too many legs. But as it gets closer, kind of down his arm to his elbow, it starts to not feel so bad anymore as this spider crawls across his chest and into his front pocket where it rests.
Jillian, what the fuck?
Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
Jillian is so caught up with left me with them. Like, she is pissed. And I think she's just like holding back from just like pushing Patrick in the hole.
Do it.
I think she sees what happens with the spider and her mind is made up. And she pushes him.
Please roll for me 66.
When did it become 6? No! Lilli, you did this. Oh.
Ooh, but you got a
Jillian.
clean success as you push Patrick, and Patrick sails off of his feet backwards. Vanessa, you just made it to the surface. You did it. You saved your friend. She was in there, and it was your fault that it happened at all. You get her back to the surface. You're pulling her out. You need help. You just need help as Patrick's heavy body smashes into the two of you, knocking into the fluid. And you see Jillian there, her arms fully outstretched, her body tense as she had just shoved him with all of her might, uplifting Patrick and throwing him into this fluid. You see it. She's standing there holding a hatchet in one hand, looking down at you.
What the? How could you?
As Patrick starts to slowly sink in this thick fluid, he feels in his breast pocket as it goes under this squirming, and in his mind he feels this squeal, this unnatural shriek as the creature starts to perish.
Roll 66 for me, Patrick.
Kyle said not that easily.
Y'all told some good truths before.
Oh no!
On
It's like I took all of his luck.
Guess we're gonna
You
tell
did.
some more.
There's one there, my friend. You are welcome to burn. Quarrelsome. Would you like to burn Quarrelsome for an opportunity to roll one dice? Only one. There are 8 candles lit.
No, I'm saving it.
You do feel the anguish of whatever this is, whatever this thing is in your pocket. It isn't so clear at first what it is, and then you realize that this entity, it is Robert.
Wait.
Something about this space, you know that he doesn't exist anymore. Whatever there was of him, whatever was left is now gone.
Okay, clarifying question.
Yes.
This fluid, this spider, this house?
This spider.
Okay.
The spider that
Alright.
crawled into your pocket. You know, just Patrick knows with absolute certainty that feeling. Yes, it perished. But he doesn't feel like a monster perished. He feels like Robert died all over again. Gone. As a candle is extinguished.
Oof.
There are 7 lights in this darkness, but There is one truth in this world, and that is that the world is dark. Patrick, you're accustomed to this by now. As you are the one who extinguished the candle, you are the first to tell us the truth.
Patrick notices as he's kind of sinking that there's the tippy top of an old dresser barely poking out of this fluid, but it might give enough purchase to get up to the next floor.
There is a dresser within reach, Patrick. Foot slips against it, but it's there. It's certainly there. Jillian, what is your truth?
No, you can't say Patrick dies.
Listen, I wasn't going to, okay? I've done this for a reason. Sarah is now dependent on the basement fluid.
Wow.
Wow.
It's funny you should say that, actually.
Sarah is now dependent on the basement fluid.
He's like, need to make a little note. Nothing big.
My truth is this. This fluid only exists here.
Poor Sarah.
Yes!
Sarah, what is your truth?
Now I need a new one, because my truth was going to be that Sarah is no longer hungry.
That could still be your truth.
Listen.
It could, but it's so close to being dependent on this fluid.
I'm not. It's very different.
Maybe. Okay, there's this horrible spider. There's this oobleck. Most of my friends are in here with me. Fluid only wants one host at a time.
The fluid
My God.
only desires one at a time. Only one host.
Listen, poor Sarah's doomed.
No.
It's gonna be bad.
Not like this.
I can't believe it went from flooded basement to thinking non-Newtonian host fluid.
Look, man, I'm holding on with my fingernails. Y'all making some great stuff here. Vanessa. A fifth truth.
Well, in addition to that, the host of the fluid can feel everything that it lingers on.
Ooh.
So if that's Sarah, that means that Sarah would know where Vanessa is because she's partially submerged in it. If she left, she could tell where she was going.
It's true. If Sarah is the host.
If
Patrick, what is your truth? If Sarah's the host.
Oh God, it's me again.
It is.
Oh no. There is a howl in the distance. The not too distant distance.
There's the sound of a howl. You're uncertain. It's man or beast. And it's close. Too close for you to be comfortable. Jillian, what is our seventh and final truth?
The shawl is no longer there.
Ooh.
The shawl is no longer there. It had fallen to the floor, knocked away by Patrick, but now it's gone. Is it in the fluid? Is it somewhere else? It's hard to tell, but it's not there now. Did it ever exist? Those are questions you may have. But for now, you're dealing with the reality. As you stand there, Jillian, looking down in this broken floor, your feet sturdy, where you tested it. You know that it's strong where you're standing at. And there before you are your friends. Well, maybe not Patrick, but Sarah and Vanessa. They're there in the fluid, surfaced. It looks to your trained eye, like Sarah's not breathing. Vanessa, you continue fighting, trying to get your way out. Patrick, you feel your toes grazing along the top of a dresser, submerged here in this fluid as you hear that unearthly howl. And then the sound of something bangs against the outside of the shack. Bang, bang, bang. You hear the door as it creaks and buckles. Bang! But it's stuck there as something outside slams against it, trying to force its way through. The world is dark. What do you do?
I hope you have enjoyed our shared nightmare. Tell us what you thought in the comments or by tagging @DungeonRogues on Twitter. Look out for part 2, coming soon.